Hi, everyone. My name's Naria. I hope you enjoy my speech today. Here we go. You can't really know where you are going until you know where you've been. That's a quote by Maya Angelou, by the way, a very powerful person when she was alive and dead. Um, she's affected me and a lot of people who have been close to me in my life, and I wanted you guys to hear that. The past's importance, it directly affects our future. I know that all of us have a story to tell. We have ups and downs, accomplishments and failures, but hopefully we live to see another day. Have you ever gone through a time in your life where you just felt like giving up? Like things won't get better? I have. I have been to the breaking point, and somehow, by the grace of God and the people who genuinely love me, I am here to speak with you today. With that being said, I want to focus on some things that I had to go through to be a functional human being. My first object is a picture of me in double cast. Here. I don't know if you can see this or not. Hopefully you can see this. I was miserable. I can't really retake this picture because it's Polaroid, so not much I can do about it. But yeah. This picture is so important to me because this was the second of a series of 9 surgeries I've had in my life. Some people are born lucky without any defects or significant medical issues, but not me. I was born with bone and muscle issues. I may not look like it, but I have had surgeries on my eyes, mouth, abdomen, lower abdomen, calves, and feet. Each surgery took months, sometimes years to recover. When you look at my face in this picture, I'm not smiling. You know how if you run into a wall with your foot and that instantaneous pain you feel? Well, it was like that times 5,000, plus it lasted for long periods of time. Post surgery, when I came home, I didn't want to put my feet on the floor because I felt like I was dying. And I had to pee so bad one day. I was screaming and crying. My uncle had to pick me up and take me to the restroom, and I was so embarrassed. So embarrassed. I felt hopeless. Nobody around me seemed to understand how much pain I was actually in. My grandma was annoyed with me most of the time because I refused to put my feet on the floor. My behavior isolated me to my bedroom with only my TV for company. I was stubborn, day in and day out. I refused to get out of my bed because I thought I couldn't handle the pain. Then one day I called for help, and nobody came. I screamed, I yelled, but still, nobody came. So I got frustrated, and I dragged myself out of the bed and into the wheelchair next to me. It was excruciating, but I needed something to eat. When I wheeled myself to the living room, my grandma was sitting there. And I was like, "Didn't you hear me? Yelling, screaming, hello, I'm here." She was like, "Yes, but I already told you that the only way you will ever recover is to stop feeling sorry for yourself and get up and move. The doctors already told you this, but you refuse, so I'm done. Take your recovery seriously, and I will help you where it's needed." After that, I decided to take my life back. From the pain that was holding me back, I decided that I wouldn't let pain rule my life. From that moment on, after that, the next surgeries hurt, but I wanted to not waste any of my time anymore, and I decided to put my best foot forward. No pun intended. Once one chapter ends and another one begins, some transitions are small in life, and later on you realize that what was once small is a giant leap, a leap of faith. My next object is my cat Hazel. Hazel's not here right now, but I have Booty. Booty, say hi. Hey, Booty. Okay. All right. I was living, oh wait, sorry. I was 25 living in Brentwood, California with my ex Rudolph. What kind of name is Rudolph? Anyway, things seemed to be getting worse by the day. I started noticing the big red flags of our relationship. He didn't take me seriously about anything I wanted to do with my life. Communication was not there, and we would argue all the time. He would disrespect me in front of his mother and call me out my name. I felt alone when I really should have felt loved. I kept thinking, why am I so sad? I am tired of feeling so sorry every day. It was to the point that I didn't even want to come home. I wanted to stay at work and avoid my problems. I know you're like, okay, what does all that have to do with your cat Hazel? Hold on, I'm getting there. Anyway, one day I decided to talk to my now ex boyfriend, Rudolph, and tell him how unhappy I was. He blew me off, of course, and I was like, I'm not being dramatic, even though he called me, I told me I was. Whatever. Please, if anyone thinks they are superior to you and your wants and needs in life, leave. It's not worth it. It's not worth it, honey. It's really not worth it. They are not God. They don't deserve you. So after this conversation, I got upset with myself. I was like, I need something right now that makes me happy. Something that he can't take away from me. So one day I had a conversation with my aunt. She was all like, my friend has a litter of kittens. They're so cute. I'm like, oh, please, can you save one for me? I think that's exactly what I need. And she was like, okay. And I went on my day off and picked the kitten I wanted up. I was in awe of how beautiful she was. By making this choice, I knew I needed to make changes so Hazel and I could be okay. I told my ex he I told my ex blah, ooh, I told my ex that I got the cat and he cussed me out. He told me I was stupid and I couldn't bring the cat in the house because of his sister being allergic. I had already planned my exit at this point. I knew I needed to leave, but Hazel gave me the courage and strength to act upon it. It took me 2 months to figure out where we would go. During that time, my friend took care of Hazel at her house while I planned my escape. The night that everything came to a head was when he broke up with me via text message while he was at work. So late. He was upset because his mom was losing the house. After all, she was not paying the mortgage, and Rudolph decided it was a good idea to take that out on me. Anyway, I cleaned his room because he loved living like a slob, and I left a letter on his pillow. I went straight to my friend's house and picked up Hazel on our way to our new home. I never looked back. He didn't deserve me, and because of Hazel, I saw a brighter future. Sometimes life keeps throwing lemons in your face until one day you make gallons and gallons of lemonade. Okay? My third object is this broken seashell. It didn't used to look like this, but it was very beautiful at one point. I have pieces of it. It was like this big. Anyway, um, it represents me permanently closing the door on my past life, even though the day I found it was amazing. It was a chilly day in February. I woke up bright and early. I was so excited and sad at the same time. That day, I met up with my lifelong friend Eric on our last outing in the Bay Area. He wanted it to be unique, so he decided to rent a luxury convertible and pick me up from the house I lived in Vallejo, California. We drove up the coast down to Baker Beach, where we spent the day climbing rocks, taking incredible photos, and finding beautiful seashells. It had been the most relaxed I had been in a long time. I had been living with roommates from hell that made every day a nightmare. We disagreed about almost everything and had full-blown screaming matches that they didn't care if the neighbors heard. It got to the point that I was standing in front of the house one day and I almost took my life. I thought that I thought that maybe stepping in front of a bus passing by would end all the suffering. I didn't want people to hate me. I didn't want to feel like a burden anymore. I knew it was time because I was so close to ending it all. That's not normal to feel that way. If you are targeted for with verbal, mental, or physical abuse, please tell someone. That is precisely what I did after I let the bus pass without diving in front of it. I called the suicide hotline and spoke to this amazing man for hours. And he let me cry and tell him everything I was going through. He told me to call my closest friend to me, and that was Eric at the time. I called him and we talked about everything. He told me I needed to leave and find a better life for myself. I listened. Which brings me to this seashell. We found it lying perfectly intact on the sand. I had never seen a shell like this before. So we took pics together holding it, and when the day was over, we said our last goodbyes. I cried my eyes out. Excuse me. I knew I would probably never see him again in person because I was leaving California for good. The next day, I packed me and Hazel in a car and drove to our new Arizona life. This was back in 2018, and I've had so many blessings after that, which make me think I might stay a little bit longer, okay? Anyway, my life wouldn't have been the same without these moments. I want everyone to know that just because people don't see the light in you, you must look in the mirror and see it for yourself. I know I am not perfect, but my happiness matters just like anyone else's. Know your worth and know when to make a move. You can be your worst enemy if you keep listening to the dark thoughts passing through your head. Talk to a counselor. Talk to a close friend or family member. You need to speak to someone when you get to this point. Today may be a disaster, but looking for a better tomorrow keeps you alive. My name's Naria, and I hope you have. I hope I may have helped you today.